Buckle up. Time for the ride home and the chance to get caught up on the day's news, plus whatever else he wants to riff on. This is Drive Time with DeRUSH Hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Here's the star of the show and your host,
Jason DeRUSH.
Are you ready? All right.
Now live on your radio and streaming to the world at WCCORadio.com and the Odyssey app. Here's Jason DeRUSH.
Just about every other minute, something else happens in this country, in the news cycle, that makes me say, what in the hell is going on? It's almost overwhelming, and I think that's by design. That's where we start in hour one of Drive Time with DeRUSH. It's Jason. Dan is here. Susie is with us on the news. And we start with the feud and the battle over protests. Would you go to this military parade in Washington, D.C. this weekend? I don't think I would go. And I got to tell you, is sort of strange as it is in this country to have a giant military parade in Washington, D.C., celebrating the U.S. Army, seeing all the tanks. Objectively, it should be cool, right? It's objectively cool. But the events of the last couple days have me feeling nervous, uncomfortable, unsafe in a gathering like that. Not because I'm afraid of the military, but I am afraid that the Trump administration has decided that they give zero, they are quashing all dissent and all protest. There's this sort of hatred of protest from President Donald Trump that I think should have all of us uneasy. And at first I don't know, at first the events of LA for me brought back too much of what we experienced here in Minneapolis with the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd, the protest, the third precinct burning, the destruction of Uptown and parts of Lake Street. And my gut reaction was, you know what? I'm glad the president is sending the National Guard in. And now that I've had some time to see what's going on in Los Angeles, what's happening in Los Angeles, I don't think is anything like what we saw here in Minneapolis. What we're seeing is a president who hates protest. Well, hates certain kind of protests. I want to play you a little bit of what President Donald Trump said within the last couple of hours about his military parade. And, man, part of this country is protest. It just is. And I get it. Probably a lot of you guys don't really like protest. Protest makes people uneasy. I get it. It's uncomfortable. It's aggressive. It's loud. It's disruptive. I think people who don't like protests have this idea that, well, why can't they just get a permit and go to a park and have a nice little day? And I think the reason is because none of us would pay any attention to that. That's why. So it's uncomfortable. That's what protest is. This crackdown on protest is far worse than anything legitimate protesters are talking about doing, because I think it has sort of this early chilling effect where it makes people like me say I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I want to go to a protest. I don't know if I would let my kids go to a protest right now, because here is your president talking about the military parade this weekend.
And we're going to be celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protester wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest.
All right, hang on right there. He hasn't even heard about a protest, but he just wants to say right now, like, if anybody shows up in protest, he's going to, like, send out the tanks that are already there. Like, are the tanks in the parade going to just turn? Very big force. Like, oh. Do people like this? Is this what you guys wanted? I mean, this is ridiculous. So he hasn't even heard about any protests, but he's going to shut them down. And then Dan, I don't know if you can pick it up from where we were playing, because right after that, then he says what I think. Then he shows his real hands here.
But, this is people that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force.
January 6th was a day of love, I believe. But if you want to protest at the Happy Birthday Donald Trump military parade, that's a cheap shot. Having a parade to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army, to me, I don't know. I'm fine with it. I'm not like super enthusiastic about it, but I'm fine with it. The idea that even the mental image that there might be a protest, that you're going to be met with very big force, to me, it makes me want to say, screw you. This is the president of the United States. But I don't know if it gets more anti-democratic than that, more anti-American than saying, this is the president of the United States saying, I haven't even heard about any protests, but just so you know, if anybody's even thinking about it, you're going to be met with a massive show of force. Joey is in Hastings. Joy, you're first up on the CCO Talk and Text line, 651-461-9226. This has me like a little more upset than I expected it to, Joy. You're on the air.
Well, I'm not commenting on the president or that aspect. I'm just commenting on protests in general.
Okay.
I think that's the most asininical thing for people to do. It does nothing but piss other people off, get them thinking, and it's like, where is it going to get you in the end?
So you're questioning just the idea of a protest in general, or the way that it happened?
They should be outbanned throughout the whole flipping world.
Protest?
All it does is wreak havoc on everybody. And you know what? Don't people work anymore? I mean, where do these people go work, get a job, do something, get a hobby? Quit wrecking the streets and everything. It is just awful. It really is.
Did you feel,
in my opinion?
Yeah. No, you know what? And I appreciate you saying that, Joy, because I don't think you're alone. I really don't. I think most people, and look, it's taken a bit for me to come to where I feel about this today, because my gut on this is the same. Like, what are we doing here? You're not really changing anybody's mind. But there's a reason the very First Amendment in the Constitution protects the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. It's right there for a reason. It's because, this is sort of what got the show started. We took the tea and threw it in the ocean, right? Like, this sort of protest is sort of where it started. So
They're not doing it peaceful anymore, Jason. It is getting violent. Innocent people are getting hurt. And it's like, why would you even... I don't know. I think the whole idea should just be banned.
Joy, I appreciate it. Thank you for listening, and thank you for calling. I don't think what Joy is, I mean, I couldn't disagree with Joy any more strongly, but Joy is correct. I think that many of the protests that we see do end up in kind of things escalate in a different way today than they maybe once did. But if you think about like what is really causing the escalation, and people have to be responsible for their own actions, right? So if you as a protester are wreaking havoc and vandalizing and whatever, I'm all for like arrest. I'm all for it. But I do think Donald Trump is getting what he wants, which is this idea. He's chilling protest and he's giving voice to the idea that I think a lot of people have that we just heard from Joyce. Let's go to Todd and Ramsey. Todd, you're on CCO. Thanks for listening. Go ahead, Todd.
Hi, Jason. You kind of stole my thunder a minute ago, but it's worth mentioning again, is growing up, we were taught the Boston Tea Party was a tremendous patriotic event, and it was complete property destruction of a private corporation's assets, and we called them heroes. So certainly a history of
what do you think people would say today about the Boston Tea Party? The Joyces of the world and the Donald Trumps of the world.
Just what you're hearing now. They would say that it's completely wrong.
Right. How dare they?
Because they don't agree with it. Because they don't agree with it.
That's what it is, yes. And I understand it. Like, I'm asking people to do a lot of work, right? To agree with something. It's sort of like the old days of the ACLU before they, I think, sort of lost their way to a certain degree. But the ACLU used to be always about protecting and standing up for things that, you know, even they disagreed with and that a lot of us would disagree with. That's what America's about. Like, I am for you can't be for January 6th and then mad about somebody protesting at the Donald Trump Army birthday parade. Give me a break.
Yes, you're exactly right. And the birthday parade is nothing more than that. Unfortunately, anyone who's long in the tooth at all has a picture in their mind of a military parade, and it's in places like Stalin in the Kremlin, standing high above the troops as they march by, and Kim Jong-il standing above the missiles as they go below them. It's not a pleasant image in history, a military parade on a leader's birthday. It's just not. It's an ego trip.
Todd, thank you. That's Todd in Ramsey. Opens up a line for you at 651-461-9226. Lots of comments coming in on YouTube and on Facebook, where we are streaming live. We're on X as well. We're where you are, wherever you want to be. We want drive time there for you. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave your comments during the commercial break. I'll read them when we come back. YouTube.com/WCCO radio. Just click on live. We will continue with this conversation. A war on protests is what is happening. And it's exactly what Donald Trump wants. We'll continue the conversation here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH Hour on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chad back here with you on CCO. Once again, talking about my friends with Aquarius Home Services. That's AquariusHomeservices.com. A customer, not kidding, for 30 plus years. Quality water is so important in our lives. I trust them. What a deal they're offering right now. 25% off a new Connecticut system and schedule your free water analysis. Find out what you have. It's worth it. The best in the business, AquariusHomeservices.com.
Experience an unforgettable weekend in downtown Minneapolis. Taste of Minnesota 2025. Saturday, July 5th. Featuring Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And Cheap Trick. Along with a Juicy Lucy Hall of Flame. And Sunday, July 6th. Featuring Ludacris and Nerdy. And Sunday Fun Day from noon to 10 p.m. each day. Enjoy live music across 3 stages. Indulge in mouthwatering local cuisine. Explore inspiring art, culture, and more. Located along Washington Avenue and Nicollet Mall. Taste of Minnesota offers a true feast for the senses. And a chance to celebrate all things Minnesota. Visit tasteofmn.com for more.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Jason DeRusha.
Like if this was 20 years ago, I think this would be a great show. But in today, this is awfully dirty and feels a little disgusting, if I may add that.
On News Talk 830, WCCO.
All right, we've got a lot of callers who want to weigh in on this. On YouTube, UGel pointing out that women's suffrage didn't just happen. Talking about protests. Tim says protests ended the Vietnam War. Yes, they are effective. There is a war going on against protest. And I think some texters are saying, no, Jason, you're missing the point. The war is against unlawful protest, violent protest. And that's why at first I felt like, you know what, sending the troops to LA, I'd rather have the troops there early than late, as we saw here in the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd. I think the troops were here too late. But LA is not Minneapolis. Minneapolis at that time had 650 cops. LA has 17,000 law enforcement officers in Los Angeles County. It is different. And they didn't want it. And the police chief didn't want it. I believe it is a calculated moment where Donald Trump was ready to go because he said he was going to do this. And as I played the sound for you before, he does not like protest, period. He likes force. Lots of callers. Let's get right to the phones. Let's go to Bill in St. Paul. Bill, thanks for waiting through the break. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, thanks for taking the call earlier with Trish, because I think she teaches us why Donald Trump is able to get elected and why so many people back what he's saying, because they want to live a life of comfort. They're comfortable and they're not the ones being affected by families being torn apart. They're not the ones that are walking out of immigration offices of people lawfully getting their immigration and then having it pulled away and ripped from them in front of their families' faces. Like it's not hard to see how Donald Trump is quickly making more and more people undesirable. And as he makes more and more people undesirable, it's going to be easier for him to enact harms on those people. And more people there's people in the country that don't care about that because they're comfortable.
Yeah. And I get it, Bill. Like, I think, look, I live in the suburbs. If I never had to engage on this topic or think about this topic, I can see where joy comes from, that you're like, hey, this is just disruptive and it's an inconvenient. And the truth is, I think, unfortunately, for those like me who do believe in protest, too often these protests are escalating into violence, into vandalism, into torching cars and this sort of thing. And it does give more ammunition to the crowd that would rather never see a protest, period. I don't know what we do about that, where we, if we could try to keep these things from escalating. I'm in favor of providing a little inconvenience. That's sort of the point of a protest. But the escalation, almost the predictable escalation, I don't know what we do about that.
I mean, I think in the end, we try to keep everybody safe, knowing that like property can be fixed and buildings can be replaced, and it's unfortunate. And the last thing I want to see are people's hard-earned businesses be trashed. Nobody wants to see that. But as long as people are able to be kept safe, all that stuff can be replaced and will be replaced. And I'm with you. I want to make sure people are kept safe. And that's where I'm fearful of this, is because I don't think Donald Trump wants to keep people safe in these protests. I think he's ready to give the green light to hurt people.
Bill, thank you. Mark is on the way to Danbury, Wisconsin. Mark, you're on CCO. Go ahead.
Hey, first I want to say kudos to your show. I'm an old listener of WCCO, the Cannon Mess, and you are carrying on an awesome tradition.
Oh, Mark, thank you. That means a ton. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Joy, I mean, she had her points. This last caller had his, and I've just been listening. It's just, you go back to, good trouble, the protests of civil rights, and then I was just heard on the news about how South Korea's protest, basically overturned martial law, got their president, he resigned and he or impeached. So there's definitely a need for peaceful protests. I totally agree with the vandalism. You know what I'd like to see with those TV shots is I would like to see 10, 15 chairs brought out in a circle and maybe Karen Bass, maybe some civilians sit down and see if some protesters sit down and then just start having a conversation. And the cameras can show that instead of having a line of people on this side and a line of people on that side. Why not just have a circle and let's talk about our issues, because they're big issues, but
they are,
dialogue instead of a standoff.
And Mark, a lot of times this feels like theater to me, right? That the protesters know that this line of police officers are going to show up, and you kind of wait. I don't know.
They're going to be sweating with their riot gear on, and they're kind of like not wanting to be there because they want to go home and watch the T-ball practice or something. So,
exactly. I mean, these are our neighbors, right? Like, that's exactly right. Thanks, Mark. Like the law enforcement, we talk about them like there's some sort of other world. These are our neighbors too. So I want those guys to be safe. I don't know, man. Having the president threatening force to a protest that no one has even talked about having, I find it chilling. 3:31, we're going to break. We'll talk about this more. I appreciate all the calls and all the texts. In just a minute, Lisa Demuth is going to join us because early this morning, the state legislature did pass a budget. What's in it? What's not in it? Who won? If that matters to you or not, I don't know. We'll talk about all of it coming up in just a minute.
Drive Time with DeRUSH is on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878. 800-948-7878.
Chances are you wanted a home with enough space for your growing family when you were younger. If you bought one and the kids are older now and have moved out, you've probably asked yourself if all the maintenance that comes along with owning a bigger home is really worth it. Hey, it's Vanita. If you're thinking of downsizing, you need to call my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Dean and Nancy did that, and they had a huge property with almost 12 acres of land. They contacted John, and he was able to do things fast for them for top dollar. Dean and Nancy's home sold in less than 72 hours for more than $25,000 over the asking price. You can have this happen too. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
At Odyssey, we believe in creating a diverse and inclusive workforce. We also value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be notified of all our open positions. That's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for all our listeners, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers for a list of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough nose and throat evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Summer's here, and the rush for outdoor furniture is coming up fast. Now's the time to upgrade so you can enjoy your space all season long and for seasons to come. By the Yard builds premium, maintenance-free outdoor furniture made to last, built to order right here in Minnesota. Backed by a 35-year warranty and priced direct to you with no middleman markup. Visit Woodbury, Maple Grove, or Jordan, or start your order at buytheyard.net. You know, with By the Yard, life is better outdoors.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in store online. You can find the crash has been taken care of. 94 eastbound near Snelling Avenue. Traffic is loosened out nicely. Bigger slowdown up ahead once you hit downtown St. Paul. Watching slowdowns for 35E, both directions essentially between Randolph and Maryland Avenue. If you're traveling Highway 100 northbound, things are jammed up there as make way toward County Road 81 up to I-94. Get on-the-go staples at Whole Foods Market. Save 30% on Stonyfield organic yogurt cups, tubes, and drinkables with Prime through June 10th. Pair your yogurt with fresh summer fruit for a delicious snack. While supplies last, shop and store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRUSH here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
The Canopy Group brings us the weather forecast. Here is Chris Schaefer.
Dry tonight with an overnight low of 62. The clouds thicken up tomorrow. 75 will be the high. We'll have a chance of showers with a better chance of showers on Thursday with a high of 73. The best chance of rain is going to be late Thursday into the early part of Friday. We do dry out for the weekend.
77 and sunny in Osseo, Minnesota here on CCO.
Let's roll with more of Jason DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Well, they got it done. I was skeptical. I thought somebody would go rogue on this over at the legislature, but in the early morning hours today, the Senate passed what the House had passed through. There is a new $66 billion budget. No one's really happy, which is sort of what you expect at the end of a budget process. Well, let's see what the Speaker of the House has to say. Representative Lisa Demuth is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Well, first of all, did you get a nap or something? You guys wrapped up pretty late / early today.
Good afternoon, Jason. Great to talk with you. And yeah, I got about a 10 or a 15-minute nap this afternoon. The House actually, we finished our work just before 11 last night. The Senate was in a little longer, so maybe I got a head start on a little bit of sleep last night. But you talk about no one's really happy. I think when we look at the process, and you and I can talk about that, but the unique makeup of what has happened over this legislative session, so many historic things, the fact that we got this done, yes, a little bit late, but we prevented a government shutdown. We were able to work together, and we delivered the largest spending cut from biennium to biennium, protecting Minnesota families and their pocketbooks. We have a lot of work that we were able to accomplish.
The almost evenly split House of Representatives, 67-66 is sort of where it was at.
Well, in the House, we were exactly tied.
Oh, you were tied, right?
67.
That's right.
And then the Democrats had it by one. They had the majority by just one in the Senate. And as you know, this fluctuated throughout the year with, a special election and multiple things this year.
When you look at what got done and what's in this package, what do you think was the biggest win, not for Republicans, but what was the biggest win for Minnesotans in this?
I think protecting Minnesotans and their the expenses that they've faced. When you look over the last biennium, so the last 2 years, we had that $18 billion surplus that everyone was talking about. It was not returned to the taxpayers in a meaningful way. And then they increased the state budget, and that was the Democrats when they had the full trifecta. They increased the state budget by another $10 billion. So when we came in this year, that was one of the top things that was talked about. Let's just raise revenue. That translates into let's tax Minnesotans more. I think the biggest win for Minnesotans is the fact that with Republicans in a tie and the close margins, we were able to work out a negotiation that prevented prevented an expansion of sales tax. It prevented a fifth-tier income tax. It did a number of other things while still providing extra funding for our school districts, making sure that those that need, there's disability services and other things, that the core responsibility for government and making sure that our public safety is also funded. Those things still maintained even while reducing some of the excess wasteful spending we've seen in the state over the last number of years.
When you look at that tight breakdown and the fact that Republicans had leverage, I wonder if you're a big time sort of Republican who wants to cut the size of government even more, the Democrats did keep most of the things that they achieved during the trifecta. They did keep school funding and unemployment insurance for the hourly school workers and the paid family and medical leave program. A lot of other than allowing undocumented immigrants as adults to be on Minnesota Care, the insurance program. Was there anything else that you really rolled back that the trifecta got through? I'm not sure there is.
Yeah, there is, Jason. And I think that's an important fact that I believe with Republicans in the tie and having a voice in this process, it almost provided an opportunity for Democrats where they maybe had some overreach to say, We may not like it, but maybe we need to compromise. So on earned and safe time, we were able to get some safeguards in the reporting process. Paid family medical leave, we wanted to make more meaningful changes because of what we've heard from the business community across the state. That program that is already behind in funding, and yet it hasn't even rolled out yet. And the IT system to make that actually work is not even ready, yet it's supposed to start January 1st. We were able to just roll back the cap sales, or the tax on that on employers. We were able to roll that back just a small amount. We couldn't get some of the other things done that we wanted to do. We were also, for school districts, able to put in some safeguards around that unemployment for hourly workers. It's important to recognize that those hourly workers in schools are not unemployed, but yet they have jobs that finish during the summer. So we were able to get some language working with the DEED, so the Department of Employment and Economic Development, and the Department of Education, putting some safeguards there so people aren't just taking the summers off and getting paid. They're either looking for jobs or taking the jobs that schools are able to offer them. There were a number of other things. You mentioned the health insurance for undocumented people. We were able to stop that as of January 1st for 18 and over, just adults. We did maintain covering children. That is not taking away health care. It's making it so taxpayers are not on the hook for paying for health insurance for the undocumented population. So without Republicans at the table, the things that I've mentioned there would never have happened. The immediate response from Democrats going into negotiations was, let's raise revenue. Let's just raise our taxes. And we were able to prevent that.
Well, there is a tax increase on cannabis, right? It was going to be 10% when that finally goes, recreational cannabis goes on sale. And now it's going to be 15%. Yeah. And there are some increases in EV fees as well, right?
Yes, there are some.
Those don't count, fees, Lisa? Come on. Those sound like tax increases to me.
They do. There are some fees there. And what I'll say about that cannabis tax, at 10% out of the states in the country that have legalized cannabis, we were on the very low end. And so by moving that up to 15%, the cannabis program, when it was made legal in 2023, that has still not had a very good rollout. It was pushed through, and I think the tax being a little bit lower in the beginning was difficult. But again, these things don't hit Minnesota families across the board. And I think that's an important thing to realize, because all of us, you, me, everybody, we face that 10% or that $10 billion increase over on state government over the last 2 years. So we were able to do some very good things for the people of Minnesota.
Lisa Demuth, Representative, Speaker of the House, is with us. So the governor, in a statement just, a couple of hours ago, said this: against the backdrop of partisan dysfunction in Washington, Minnesota is proving that we can still come together and get things done for the people we serve. With the most closely divided legislature in the country, we passed the largest reduction in state spending in state history and protected the things that make Minnesota the best state in the country to raise a child. I applaud the legislators who work late into the night to get this done. Do you agree?
I do agree. We did some very good things for Minnesota. Now, Jason, we were supposed to have had our work done by May 19th, and we did pass some of our bills by May 19th, our deadline. We passed public safety and judiciary, the agriculture bill, a housing bill, veterans, and the state government bill. But we proved that we could work together. It just took longer to get these things done. And remember, in the House, Democrats stayed out of work. They boycotted work for 23 days because they were down one seat, because the person that won in Roseville, their candidate that won, didn't live in the district, and it forced a special election, which took place later. And so even with those dynamics, a one-seat advantage for Republicans, but still only 67, Democrats staying out, then returning to a tie, we were able to get this done. No government shutdown, and we served Minnesotans much better with the reduction in spending in our state government.
You don't really think that if
$6 billion.
you don't really think if they started at the beginning that you would have had this done without a special session anyway, do you? I mean, it seems like the mechanics, the way this all works now is that this is sort of what you can expect.
I think when we look at the delayed start and the pushback there, one of the things that really played into us being able to work together was the fact that we had, when we turned to a tie, we had co-chairs in every one of the committees and equal membership. So each one of our committees in the House had to start working together sooner. I think it took
That makes sense,
my Democrat colleagues longer to come to the realization that they no longer had a trifecta. And with me as the speaker, as a Republican, and a Republican tie in the House, they were going to have to both agree and listen to some of the things, and we had negotiating power. Small, but we had negotiating power in the room.
Yeah.
I think that took them a little longer to come to terms with that.
Are you going to run for governor?
I am so glad that I am done with this session as my first session being Speaker of the House. I am not making any determinations going forward at all at this point, Jason.
Are you thinking about it? I mean, there's been really quite a bit of praise for the way you've navigated very difficult situations at the legislature, the way you've been a spokesperson for Republicans. You would be like a normal Republican running for governor, Representative Davis.
I'll take that as a compliment. The whole motivation that I have had in even running for the legislature, I was on my school board before, is just looking at my community and thinking of, if I have something to offer, how could I help my community take, the knowledge that I have and the ability to work together. That's what drove me on the school board. That's what's driven my opportunities here in the legislature. I would never say no to running for governor. I'm not telling you yes, so be very clear about that. I would never say no, because if you would have asked me just a few years ago if I ever thought I'd be Speaker of the House, I would not have even thought of that. And so I'm not going to say no to you, but I'm definitely not saying yes either. I have been honored to serve as Speaker of the House and as a legislature, in the legislature for my constituents here in District 13A. It is an honor of a lifetime, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
All right. You got to come and tell me first, though, when you decide. That's the deal. That's the deal. Representative Lisa Demuth, always appreciate having you on. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to your newest graduate.
Yes, it's amazing. It's pretty fun.
Yes.
I don't know what's a bigger achievement, getting a kid out of your house and graduating high school, or navigating the session. Many challenges.
Hey, challenges, but you have the opportunity to really influence the people that grow up in your house and then go out on their own. I've got 4 kids, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I've had. So I think that is, by far, family is the most important.
No doubt. You know it well. Thanks, Lisa. Representative Lisa Demuth, Speaker of the House. We're late. We'll take a break and be right back.
It's the Afternoon Ride with Jason DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, let's talk about selling your house and selling your house quickly. It's Jason here, and this message is not for all of you. It's not. If you're indecisive, if you like negotiating back and forth, if you like being nervous about whether you're going to get to the closing date, what's going to happen with the inspection, is this person going to back out? Is their financing going to? All right, if that's you, forget it. I'm not talking. If you're decisive, if you're quick, if you need to sell your house quickly, I've got the guy, and it's Chris Lindahl. You know, the arms wide out on the billboards. Chris is my friend. I've known him for years. He helped Alyssa and I when we were looking at houses last year. He is an innovator, and he is busy because right now, the uncertainty in the housing market, interest rates all over the place, more and more people are reaching out to Chris at chrislindahl.com. And why wouldn't they? Because you, with a guaranteed cash offer, are in the driver's seat. You pick your closing date. You pick your moving date. You decide if you want the offer or not. You have certainty. Certainty. What kind of price do you want to put on that? Find out. Go to chrislindahl.com today. Get your guaranteed cash offer and start packing. Terms and conditions may apply.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you.
Don't forget to stop at Thieler Meats of Pierce for some melt-in-your-mouth moments. Mmm.
High quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home smoked bacon.
All natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at thielermeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meals complete without Thieler Meats of Pierce.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without, can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 30 for lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. Crash working north 169, 120th Avenue as you make way toward Champlin. Activity off the left side. Traffic's pretty much slow as you come up from County Road 81. When a loved one passes or it's time to settle in the state, the valuables left behind can feel overwhelming. At American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington, they help navigate these moments with clarity and care. Peace of mind starts with your appointment. AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO weather brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan. Find them at dickeys.com. Tonight, low of 62. Tomorrow, isolated showers, 75. Thursday, it's 73. A little below normal. 78 is what it should be right now. That's what it is. 78 and sunny on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind a lot, especially through social, but also through listeners, is humorless.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Boy, what a night to go to the Twins game, right? Absolutely beautiful weather in downtown Minneapolis. Twins have a 6:40 start at Target Field. Why do they start before 7? What is that? What's the 6:40 start?
I believe the initial idea was earlier starts when you're talking about kids still being in school. Obviously, most kids are out of school at this point. But then they found when they started doing that, people actually liked the earlier start because it gets them done and they can go out and do other things after the game if they want.
Come have
So,
happy hour at Target Field.
Friday nights are still usually 7 o'clock starts, but the weeknight games, they go with the 6:40.
6 o'clock pregame right here on CCO. By the way, today we're giving away Twins tickets. It's Twins Ticket Tuesday. So when you hear the Win Twins sounder,
not now,
be caller number 3, and we're giving away a 4-pack for Monday, June 23rd against the Seattle Mariners, 6:40. That should be pretty good. 4-game series with the Seattle starting on Monday. So twins.com/tickets. But we'll give them away at some time in the next hour. We want you to keep listening. Ask Adri advice coming your way next.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still locally owned and now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Summer is around the corner. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family and planning that summer trip. Trust your local gutter pros, Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Thinking about buying or selling a business? The right legal team makes all the difference. At Helmuth & Johnson, our team specializes in sophisticated mergers and acquisitions, guiding you through every negotiation, contract, and closing with skill and precision. From due diligence to deal structuring, we are 100% client-focused, protecting your interests so you can focus on success. Big or small, we make complex transactions seamless. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all of your business needs.
Connected TV is one of the most effective channels for driving measurable advertising results. That's because when your customer's not scrolling, they're streaming. Let Viant put your ads right where they are, on the best content, across the most premium platforms in the world. We're talking real consumers, big screens, big outcomes. With Viant, you get people-based targeting, AI-powered performance, and full access to inventory built to seize eyeballs, not clickbait. Viant, where premium streaming meets performance. Visit ViantInc.com/CTV to unlock real results today.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Covering Minnesota, the nation, and the world. News Talk 830. WCCO 1029 KMNB HD2. Minneapolis, St. Paul. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. A court has been asked to limit the troop deployment in Los Angeles to protecting federal buildings. It's the latest in the back and forth between the White House and the state over the protests there. President Trump just moments ago.
Not only are these service members defending the honest citizens of California, they're also defending our republic itself. And they are heroes. They're in there, they're heroes.
Speaking to troops at Fort Bragg.
In Los Angeles, the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're incompetent.
Representative Yvette Clarke is chair of the Congressional Black Caucus.
If this president is willing to send military troops into an American city over peaceful dissent, we must ask, what happens next?
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was on Capitol Hill today, insisting the troops are needed to protect federal agents.
We believe that ICE, which is a federal law enforcement agency, has the right to safely conduct operations in any state and any jurisdiction in the country.
The Defense Department estimates the deployment will cost $134 million. Earlier, President Trump observed a military demonstration before addressing the troops at Fort Bragg.
This week, we honor 250 years of valor and glory and triumph by the greatest fighting force ever to walk the face of the earth, the United States Army.
And he announced more bases will revert to their previous names: Fort Hood, Fort Pickett, Fort Lee, and Fort A.P. Hill. A new UN report warns fertility rates around the world are declining at an unprecedented rate.
The UN Population Fund survey found most people want 2 or more children, but 1 in 5 say they will not have their desired number. They cited financial reasons, infertility, lack of time, or lack of a suitable partner. Demographer Anna Rockhurch.
It seems that the whole humanity currently is entering the era of low fertility.
The UN fears some countries will overcorrect like they did 40 years ago when they worried they had too many people. Now they're looking to boost fertility again. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
In Gans, Austria today, a rare school shooting. Tina Kraus reports.
The mayor called the killings a terrible tragedy and said special forces were among the police deployed to the high school after a call saying shots were fired.
10 people died, including the gunman, who officials say was a former student. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials finished 105 points higher. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice, every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Fair skies, 80 degrees now at 4:03. Good afternoon. I'm Susie Jones. The hour's top story. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has signed an executive order saying the city is committed to police reform, even if the Trump administration is not. The mayor says the city intends to honor the consent decree addressing police reform that was proposed after George Floyd's murder back in 2020. Despite its recent dismissal by the federal government, Frey spoke last month after the dismissal was announced.
Bottom line is this. People should expect us to do this work. People have been demanding for years that we do this work, and we're not going to let them down.
In a statement released this afternoon, the mayor went on to say the executive order reinforces the city's ongoing commitment to transparency, accountability, and structural reform to build a safer and more equitable city. After a marathon special session, Minnesota lawmakers have passed a new 2-year state budget. Governor Walz commenting on the compromise that went into the final outcome with a tied House and a DFL one-seat majority in the Senate.
I think all of us recognize the world that we're living in right now and the divisions. 101 to 100 with such strong feelings against the backdrop of what we're seeing in D.C. and across the country in this moment, L.A. included, to be able to bring this together, to get the votes and button this things up. This is the way governments, this is why I got into this business, to try and make a difference, work together, compromise, find common ground.
A former Republican state senator who resigned in disgrace after getting caught up in an underage prostitution sting in Bloomington is asking that the federal charges lodged against him be dropped.
Attorneys for 41-year-old Justin Eichhorn claim in court filings that their client is being singled out with federal charges because he was a public official. They point out that of the 14 men arrested that day in March, only 2 are facing federal charges, and unlike Eichhorn, the other has a prior history of sexual assault. They say that if Eichhorn was subjected to state charges, the amount of jail time he would receive is likely half of a possible 10-year sentence. No response yet from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Finally, Metro Transit showing off its new B line. It launches this Saturday, and project manager Katie Ross says they are promising faster service along the busy Route 21 corridor. She says even the bus shelters will get an upgrade.
That means everything from a lot of lighting so that people can feel safe and secure even late at night. We have security cameras at all of our stations, and we have emergency telephones where people can get connected directly with Metro Transit personnel in our transit control center.
She says other new features include off-board fare payment and fewer stops, all designed to make journeys between uptown Minneapolis and downtown St. Paul more efficient. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Gresham Place, North 169, 120th Avenue as you make way into Champlin. The activity off the left side. Traffic slows as you make way through the area. 610 jammed up. Eastbound run as move between Broadway and over to 252. 694 eastbound, a slow run. Silver Lake Road. 235E. If you're on the south side of the Metro, 35W southbound jammed up as you make way past 106, heading down to Highway 13. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw & Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw & Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys seeking justice for the injured. You can find them at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer with the forecast.
We'll keep a partly cloudy sky into the night tonight, 62 the overnight low. Clouds will thicken up tomorrow. We'll have some isolated showers possible, mainly across southern Minnesota with a high of 75. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a better chance of showers, especially later in the day. The heaviest rain should be Thursday night into Friday morning. We dry out Saturday and Sunday.
All right now we have a few clouds and it is 80 degrees on News Talk 830 WCCO.
There's a whole newsroom inside your smart speaker. Just say, "Hey Alexa, play News Talk 830 WCCO." No suit, no tie, just DeRUSH. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DeRUSH.
Would you rat out your next door neighbor who you think is having an affair? Oh, now it's getting juicy. Now it's getting juicy on Drive Time with DeRUSH. Jason, we're glad to have you with us on this Tuesday, 80 degrees today. Oh, but it's getting hot in here with our monthly visit from our friend Adrian Lee. Adrian, it's good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here. It's been a bit.
Was that too much of an intro for you? Was that too hot?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't until you said that, and then it got a little weird. But it was fine.
I mean, I just meant like the heat of this issue. This issue.
Oh, the question.
That's right. So you can visit with us online, watch on YouTube at the WCCO Radio YouTube channel, like and subscribe and all of that stuff. And then on top of it, we want your questions. So if you need advice on any aspect of your life, romantic, friendship, family, ask Adri. So send us a text at 763-44. Oh, that's my own personal phone number.
Definitely don't want to give that out this week.
No,
probably.
not on the radio station. 651. How about that? Just my brain went into like if you're going to send me a text, here's my number.
Wait till I'm in for you next Friday and then I'll give it out.
What on earth?
And then
That's going to be Dan's Father's Day gift to you.
there you go.
651-461-9226. Now, I would tell you to send us a voice message on the Odyssey app, but the app is down. Our app is down. So if
This just in.
Oh, yes.
The app issues have been resolved.
Has anyone ever sent one into the app anyways?
We do sometimes get
Once in a
voice
while.
messages when people can find the page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they send us a voice. You can do that too if you're listening.
There you
can
go.
Send in a question or a comment. So here is the conundrum that has been making international news. And I saw them talking about this on CBS this morning. So let me just say, if you are next door neighbors with Gail King and you are cheating on your spouse, Gail might rat you out.
She said she would. She would.
She would. Well, there's a lot to this. So let me set it up. And this post is from the United Kingdom, where I didn't know there was this sort of scandal going on in London. I don't know. I just don't think of British people as like cheating on their spouses.
I think. Have you heard of Henry VIII?
I
Like that's kind of a thing. It's kind of their thing.
I thought it was just the kings and the queens. Woman says she lives next door to a couple. The wife is in her, I don't know why this matters. The wife is in her 30s. The husband's in his 40s. The husband does shift work. So 1 week a month, he leaves early evening and works into the following day. In recent months, she's noticed a couple times a week When the man is off at work, the lady gets picked up by a car, the same one. Gets picked up around 7 p.m. and doesn't return until closer to midnight, and the car will usually linger outside with the engine running in it as they are chatting. As the nights have gotten lighter, the woman and her partner have noticed that the wife's appearance has gotten flashier. She's always done up in makeup and wearing flattering outfits, like tight dresses and heels and whatever. She rarely appears like this at any other time when her partner is gone. So let's assume that these suspicions are right. We can make a million excuses, right, Adri? You could say, like, well, maybe they were friends. But, like, if you were next door, you would think.
I wouldn't assume, because as deep in her neighbor's business as she appears to be
very deep.
There's nothing super definitive. Like, you don't know.
Pretty definitive.
It's not. What if her neighbor is in like an open or poly relationship? That's a thing.
Sure.
What if it's just a friend? I like dressing up when I go out with my girlfriends.
If a guy came to pick you up only when your husband was off at work.
I didn't say it looks good.
So I would be a little concerned that they were in a consensual open relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, a
Is that
one-sided open relationship is just cheating. I
thought the youngs are all for these things.
I'm not that young. I don't think. I'm
It's a different generation.
Yeah, that's a different thing. But I mean, my honest answer is I just believe in the African-American proverb of minding your business because
is that a
number one,
African-American?
it's an African-American proverb. It's a way of life, really.
Yeah.
But I think number one, she doesn't know for sure.
Correct.
It certainly looks bad.
Yeah.
But number two, like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of judgment, but not a lot of care, not a lot of relationship. So, like, is she going to be there to support any fallout? Like, what if the lady gets kicked out? What if her husband freaks out and murders her? Like, I don't know if I can say that word on your show.
You can say, freaks out. That's allowed.
But like, all of that is very possible, and cheating is terrible, but like the possibilities seem maybe more terrible.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, so if I were good friends with these neighbors, my answer might be different.
If you were good friends, then I would say talk to your friend, talk
That's
to the
right.
woman.
That would be my move.
Yeah, maybe you peer pressure her to knock it off or to confess or whatever, but I still don't think your move is to go to the husband.
No.
No.
Like, I think if you go to the husband, well, look.
Also, what's he doing?
Going to work.
On the road.
He's going to work.
So he says.
I mean, you never know. You never know. But I admire the effort they put into, like, tracking and surveilling this situation.
I do. It sounds like retired behavior for sure. That was a lot of time.
Well, this is what I'm going to do when I get older. This is why I want to move to the city. Like, in the suburbs, there's not enough density. I know, like, the urban activists really want more density. And my reason for that is more drama to observe in other people. In the suburbs, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I like that. Whatever motivation gets us more housing.
Ugel on YouTube says, I would not say anything unless I'm in that household. I have no idea what the dynamic is. They may be in an open relationship. Texters at 651-461-9226. I would not rat out my neighbor. It's really none of my business. However, if it was with my wife, then I would call 811. You know what 811 is?
What is that?
That's the hotline you call before you dig.
Oh my gosh. See, and that's why I said you shouldn't tell the husband, because of that guy right there. Thank you for validating that I gave the right response.
I just admire that this gent was thinking about, like, underground wires that might be buried, and he didn't want to cause a power outage when he dug the hole.
A very responsible murderer. We appreciate it.
She may be taking dance lessons, says a texter. If I don't like my neighbor and I'm 100% sure they don't have a gun, I absolutely tell them, says a texter. I think so we've talked about this before, because I had a scenario where my college roommate discovered his wife cheating on him. He had a suspicion. He drove to the house of the guy that he thought she was cheating on him with. Small town where you know who the potential people are. And she was there and came out of the bedroom wearing his shirt. That's pretty good evidence, right? Perhaps they were doing a painting, like a painting project.
I love these little reminders you give me to never tell you my business, by the way, as you tell people's business on air.
But I said what I thought about that scenario, and they're still together today.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
should not have
different.
said anything.
Were you asked?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, whose fault is that then?
Still, should have kept my mouth shut.
I mean, you would have if you didn't ask.
Well, he more just poured his heart out to me.
Oh.
And then I was trying to be supportive and say, like, well, you should leave her. You're young. You've only been together a little while. She cheated on you now. She's going to do it again. And they're still married and happy.
But that's still a different situation because there's a relationship. You knew all the people. You knew all the people. And it was so definitive. So clear.
Get door security cam video and send it to the wrong phone number, says a texter. I do think the move is to talk. You nailed it. Everyone's going in the wrong direction on this. Should you tell the husband? No. Could you open up a conversation with the potential cheater? If you're going to do anything, that would be the logical move.
I also just question again if it's about care or a love of mess, because somebody said, if I didn't like my neighbor, I would tell. And that's not like totally about doing the right thing then.
I do think, like, if I were in this situation, I would feel bad for the guy who doesn't know he's being cheated on, right? So, like, I can understand that being a pure motivation for some. This person didn't do anything. She just posted to a "Am I overreacting?" thread. So, yeah, all right. Good one to think about. Let's break. We're going to come back. I want to talk to you about blocking behavior, social media blocking behavior. When's it okay to block someone? In the meantime, I'm going to go to my Twitter account at DeRushJ, find a bunch of replies that I'm getting right now and just block all of you guys. We'll do that when we come back. Drive Time, Ask Adri. Send in your relationship conundrums, your advice that you need. 651-461-9226.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, I got a message on social media from someone I'm not blocking just this weekend who told me, she's like, Jason, I went to Tureen Dermatology because of your recommendation, and it was awesome. Thank you so much for sending me. So many of our listeners have gone to Tureen Dermatology and had that full body skin checkup or had a checkout because of eczema. Yeah, it was Mary Pat. Went on Tuesday. Fabulous practice in Lakeville, she says. Lakeville, one of their brand new locations. 9 Tureen Dermatology locations all over the Twin Cities. And especially this week, you know, it's Father's Day week. And I want the men out there to think about taking care of their skin. This is not like the kind of thing. Take care of your skin. Get that full body skin checkup. A melanoma diagnosis in Minnesota. We are in the top 3 states for new melanoma. It's because we're so dang pale. You spend time out in the sun like today, and then you pay the price. You can get great results if you get early detection. And Tureen Dermatology takes care of all skin colors and all skin conditions. Online at Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind-up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
In a
Need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or import direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summer's here, and now's a perfect time for that new roof. Head to honestexteriors.com and get an instant quote. Get 0% financing on roofing, siding, windows, and gutters at Honest Exteriors. Local pros, honest work. Visit honestexteriors.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Ask Adri, our friend Adrian Lee with us. You can follow Adri. Where's the best place, would you say? Substack. It's Ask Adri
Anything.
ADRI. Ask Adri Anything. And I'll put that link in a big old banner on our video stream.
Thank you.
So people can see that and then follow Ask Adri Anything on Substack. And that's where you wrote about this issue of blocking, about social media and when you should put up a boundary. I thought it was really interesting because it's a new world, right? Back when we were young, you could break up with someone and pretty much be done with them. And now it's a little more complicated, isn't it?
It definitely is. You have to actually be intentional. But I think it's worth it to be intentional. I think that, especially in the Midwest, I talked about how conflict avoidant we are, except on Twitter, where we're pro-conflict.
This whole show exists. Just to have.
But I think it's a profoundly conflict avoidant thing to sort of stay passively connected to people who you aren't in any meaningful connection with in real life. Obviously, there are going to be exceptions to that. Like maybe it's an old teacher or something, and you aren't probably going to ever interact again, but it's your only connection to them, and it's a positive one. Fine. But like being connected to random exes, their whole extended family, a friend you had a falling out with and never spoke to again, like I don't see the value, because if nothing else, you're giving them your attention, you're seeing their updates. I don't know. I kind of prefer the out of sight, out of mind. I'll avoid you in the grocery store if I ever see you.
Disconnect, unfriend, block if you need, you wrote. And then I really like this line. I wonder if you would say a little bit more about it. Boundaries are not beef. Endings are not feud.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have had people actually write to me or write to other people who have disconnected from them and say, like, what did I do? Are you upset with me? And the reality is like, sometimes you didn't do anything. I just want to be thoughtful about who I'm connected to, who I'm, giving my attention to, especially online. We spend more time than we would like to on social media. So ideally we want those connections to be relevant. And so I don't think disconnection should always be seen as a negative or as an indication that there's any kind of animosity. Sometimes it's just the connection has run its course, and that's okay.
It took me a while to kind of get comfortable with that idea because I've been on the internet so long and social media so long that there are a lot of people, early days that I was, back when social media was much smaller and you could have more in real life interactions with the people you had online. And one of those early sort of online friends that had crossed over into a real world friend, not close friend, but like small F friend, he blocked me. And when you discover it, I was like, we didn't have any negative interaction. I'm like, what happened? What happened? And it used to really bug me. And
well, you probably did something.
I think that he's in this group of people that you and I were talking about earlier today that politically can't stand me, which, fine. And so some people, I think, aren't able to have a conversation with people they disagree with or just don't want to. And so the algorithm kind of pushes it into their feed. And so he just blocked me. And now I think totally get it. If that helps you live your life better, cool. Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
But it took a bit to get there.
That's fair.
Yeah. Ask Adri at askadrianything.com. Another question we got was about in-laws and siblings. And you wrote about that on your Substack. This is a really interesting, complicated relationship that some people have with their in-laws. And the scenario is basically that the question writer has 3 kids, a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old, but only asks the 9-year-old to do stuff.
Yes.
And it's an in-law. It's not your mom. It's your mother-in-law. And how do you navigate that? It's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. I think that this question actually touched on some of what you were alluding to, which is just the ability to sort of assess if there is either a tension in the relationship or an incompatibility in the relationship, and to be able to navigate that without sort of blowing things up. I think in this case, there was a number of different factors. The 2 younger siblings had some complex health needs and dietary, allergies, and the family was maybe just not wanting to deal with those. Older children are also often just easier to deal with.
Yeah.
And
maybe it's just a favorite situation.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Yeah.
But I think that's the great thing about clear boundaries, clear communication. If you're willing to do it, is you can say hey, inclusivity. And I suggested this to the person who wrote in, inclusivity is a value to us that extends to our family. If you're going to invite one kid, with very few exceptions, invite them all. And also the flip side of that is you can set your boundary, but it doesn't mean everyone has to be cool with it. That might mean fewer invitations. So it's also being adult enough to accept the push and pull of your boundaries.
I like it. Ask Adri anything. If you go to that Substack, there's an email. You can always text us with your questions and we'll attack it next time. But give Adri a follow. Ask Adri anything at substack.com. Always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for coming in. 4:30, we'll break in just a minute. I have complex emotions about a really tough decision that a local business owner had to come to. She's someone who's been on this show before. She started her own cupcake shop in Hopkins. But when you're a small business owner, sometimes you have to pick, am I going to take care of my own health or am I going to keep doing what I love doing? Sometimes you got to choose. She did. We'll talk about it next.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH Hour on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hi, my name's Dave.
Hi, Dave.
And I haven't missed a CCO news update in 6 years. I know, right? My coworkers and friends expect me to know things all the time. That's a lot of pressure, man.
It's okay, Dave. Thank you for sharing. Speaking of sharing, do you have any tips or advice for where to invest my money with all these tariffs?
Really?
News Talk 830 WCCO. The habit you don't need to feel guilty about.
We've all known someone who's been trying to sell their home for a long time and has had no success whatsoever. We also know someone who sold their home for a lot of money right after it goes on the market. You want to be that second person. You want to contact my friend, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Betty did just that. Betty was desperate to sell her home. She hired another agent before she called John. Her house sat on the market for more than 100 days. With no luck, John assured her he could get the job done, and he did. It only took him 16 days to sell Betty's home. You can hire the right agent the first time by contacting John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at HIMS.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to HIMS.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
When a tree crashes onto your roof, it's not just damage, it's chaos. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Call Brian Job of Job Brothers Construction. As a local, family-owned business based in Minnetonka, Job Brothers offers same-day emergency service across the Twin Cities. From the moment disaster hits to the final shingle nailed down, Brian and his team handle it all, start to finish. They'll work directly with your insurance companies. You don't have to play middleman or worry about what's covered and what's not. They take care of everything: roofing, siding, windows, gutters, and they do it with the kind of care you'd expect from a neighbor, not just a contractor. It's why so many Minnesotans trust them after the storm is past. Don't wait. Schedule your no-obligation full inspection now at JobBrothersConstruction.com. That's J-O-B-E, Job Brothers Construction. They get the job done right.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are moving, but it's kind of a slow movement as you travel 494 westbound across the Minnesota River Bridge. Cedar South jammed up 494 to Highway 13. You're also going to find 494 slowing as you make way between Pilot Down Road and Highway 3. Highway 36 eastbound, that's a slow cruise as you make way between 280 and 35E. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Clogged gutters? Call the pros. Advantage Home Pros.
With the highest quality workmanship and materials, seamless gutter installation, cleaning, and covers, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And the forecast brought to you by Advantage Home Pros. Experience the advantage at AdvantageHomePros.com. Here's Chris Shane.
Dry tonight with an overnight low of 62. The clouds thicken up tomorrow. 75 will be the high. We'll have a chance of showers with a better chance of showers on Thursday with a high of 73. The best chance of rain is going to be late Thursday into the early part of Friday. We do dry out for the weekend.
Right now, it is 79 degrees and sunny on CCO. Here comes DeRUSH Eats, brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board and Certic.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH.
Oh, so there's a little bit of a dark humor involved, too?
Oh, yeah, a lot of it, in fact.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRUSH. He has the eats.
Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like our favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard as Drive Time transitions into DeRUSH Eats.
Amy Brace is with us again. She was on our show not long ago talking about her journey as part of a documentary with breast cancer survivors. We introduced her, and I first met Amy as the owner of a cupcake shop and a bakery in downtown Hopkins. And just this week, the announcement came out that Amy is making a major change. And so we wanted to talk about it. Amy, it's nice to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell me what you announced just this week.
Oh, man. We've actually been working on this, I think, since November. So it feels surreal to actually have it here. But we announced that Angel Food Bakery is going to be the new owner of Amy's Cupcake Shop. So, yeah, just crazy.
I can hear it. And yeah, I can hear it in your voice. You own the Cupcake Shop for 8 years, right?
9 years.
9 years. And so much has happened over that time. COVID happened. Your breast cancer diagnosis. You had incredible success, incredible ups and downs, right?
Yeah, for sure. So through COVID, it went from, feeling like you're working, I know all small business owners will understand, but feeling like you're working 42 hours a day, trying to figure out how to make your business survive and how to get people to come and support your business in a way that is safe and all those kind of things. And we were grateful because we were a bakery that we got to stay open. But literally as soon as things were letting up kind of in 2022, that October is when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I've gone through 18 rounds of chemo, 25 rounds of radiation. I just had my 10th surgery 3 weeks ago, and have another one coming up this winter. So I just went from keeping the business alive to keeping myself alive. And I just needed a break. The stress was getting to me, and I wasn't able to fully kind of recover and heal appropriately because I still had to take care of the business. As a small business owner, you don't get to stop and say, hey, let me take a break. Can I take my disability? Nope, that's not how that works.
Right. You're the owner.
When you're such a small business.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that maybe people don't always consider. And certainly for you as a younger, business owner, the reality is, it has to be heartbreaking to feel like you have to choose one. You have to choose one.
Yeah.
But you sort of do.
Well, and I had reached out to a couple commercial brokers at first because people had recommended them to me. And it was just like all the things I didn't want to hear. It's like, you can't choose the next owner. They're going to tear apart your business and do whatever they want with it. And it just felt so sad and so awful to me that I've been doing this business for 14 years now. We've been in our brick and mortar for 9, actually coming up on Saturday is our 9th anniversary. And to come to grips with the fact that somebody could literally come in and just do whatever they wanted with it felt so sad, because I've worked so hard to create this beautiful space in Hopkins, and the community there has rallied around us from, I mean, literally the very beginning. And so I kind of gave up after a while. And then I started asking a few people, and I'd ask Katie over Instagram, and she was like, actually, I think this might be wonderful.
And Katie is Katie Gertis from Angel
from
Food
Angel
Bakery.
Food. Yep, and she has a whole team in place, and the more we chatted about it, the better it sounded for everybody, and just that community of helping each other. And because it helps me, because now I can actually focus on my health and healing and all those kind of things. And I do have another surgery this winter coming up, so I'll be ready to take that on as well. Hopefully that'll be the last one for a while. How did it in a beautiful community?
Yeah. How did it feel, Amy, to find Katie and to have Katie say yes? What made you reach out to her?
We had actually met years ago at some wedding event that was at the Hunting House, actually, and I just remember chatting with her even for a few minutes, and I'm going, wow, we're very similar people. Like, we care about the essentials of baking, like baking from scratch and those kind of things. So whenever we have somebody ask for donuts, we're like, oh, go to Angel Food, you know, and it turns out whenever they had people asking for cake, they were referring us. So it was already kind of a symbiotic relationship that we didn't necessarily realize was happening already. And they have so many items that we don't have, and we have things that they don't have. And so it just kind of just organically grew into this friendship and relationship, and with her and her mom and their operations manager. It's just, the more we chatted about it, the more it seemed like the right fit for all of us.
Her mom was one of the founders of Hell's Kitchen, great restaurant.
Yep.
Cynthia is just a terrific. They're both great. Like, they're really great. I don't know if you could find better stewards to kind of take over than that family.
And we've met a few times, and Cynthia, we've chatted, and they're just wonderful, wholesome people that want to do right by the business and take care of the staff and our customers. And I love that they understand that, because that's what keeps you going, you know, is your amazing customers and the community that supports you. And they understand that, and making good food, making food that's actually delicious and made from scratch. And when she said they still make everything from scratch there too, I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect. It seems like we just have such a similar philosophy when it comes to food and nourishing souls through food. You know, that's one of the things I love the most about is making something and sharing it with somebody. It's very much a form of love for me, is giving people treats or sharing something that I baked with them. So
Amy Brace is with us. Amy's Cupcake Shop is what she founded. Angel Food Bakery will take it over. The name will change eventually to Angel Food. Has Katie and her team taken over already? Are you done? Do you get time to focus on yourself, Amy?
I do. Yeah, they actually took it over on June 1st, and it sounds like we're gonna kind of go, or they, I guess, are going steady as she goes with Amy's Cupcake Shop for now. So it won't be changing too soon.
It's hard to say isn't it? I mean, all these years
I know,
of we.
It is. It's mine.
Yes. I get it.
Great.
I still talk about Channel 4 sometimes as we, and it's like, no, it's not we anymore. It's them. Yeah.
And even when I'm introducing myself, it's like Amy of Amy's Cupcake Shop. Like, I still had it. It's mine. It's not mine anymore, but I still did it.
Well, Amy, just congratulations on everything. We know your medical journey has been a struggle and a challenge, and certainly your work in being a part of a documentary to shine a light on the issue of severe stage 4 breast cancer is so important. But we just want you to take care of yourself, and how cool that
Yeah.
a little piece of your legacy will continue right there in downtown Hopkins.
Drive Time with DeRUSH is on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, Jason here. So grateful to our friends at the Minnesota Pork Board for their support in making DeRUSH Eats happen. Pork Board is 3,000 family farmers. That's what it is. And we've had really the great pleasure of telling the story about those farmers, the impact they make on our economy, on our communities, the hard work they're putting in to take care of their soil, of the water, take care of our environment too. I want to talk about the flavor. It's DeRUSH Eats. Let's have some good eats this week, this weekend, and bacon is just the beginning when it comes to pork. Flavor of pork, versatility of pork. I love the lean aspect to it, that it's packed with protein. On a night like tonight, you might want a quick, easy dinner. What about firing up the grill and having pork tenderloin? How about, have you ever taken ground pork and used that ground pork for a pork burger? Delicious. If you like spicy, if you like Asian flavors, you like Latino flavors, so many ideas to get you started. Go to the recipe section of mnpork.com. Click on Pork 101. You can click on the way you want to cook it, and boom, tons of recipes and inspiration. Get to the grocery store and the butcher shop. Taste what pork can do, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. Oh, yeah.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
When it's time to sell a collection of gold, silver, valuable coins, or jewelry, who do you trust? American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington specializes in evaluating and purchasing valuable collections quickly, clearly, and with immediate payment. For over 30 years, families, trustees, and professionals have relied on American Rare Coin for transparent pricing and straightforward service. Located on American Boulevard, we make complex decisions simple and valuable assets easy to liquidate. Schedule your appointment today at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com.
Thielen Meats of Pierce is where tradition meets taste.
Family grown, employee owned. We've mastered the art of meat.
That's why we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
And we're located right here in Pierce.
Check out our mouthwatering selection at thielenmeats.com.
Better yet, stop in and see for yourself. We're serving up love one cut at a time.
Thielen Meats, from our family to your feast.
No meals complete without Thielen Meats
of Pierce.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
problems down on the crosstown westbound at Portland Avenue with the crash working. Right lane is shut down. Traffic is slow and go as you come away from Hiawatha. East crosstown, that slows. Gleason heading up to the Mendota Bridge. 494 eastbound, watching slowdowns there that start up between the Bush Lake Roads and continue across the Minnesota River Bridge. 694 eastbound up on the north side. You can find that slows between Central and 35E. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Land Company I use. B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034. Or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Weather brought to you by B&M Tree Service, and it is nice out, right? This is perfect right now. Tonight down to 62. Tomorrow increasing clouds, isolated showers. 75 is the high, not bad. Thursday mostly cloudy, scattered showers again, high of 73. Heaviest rain on Friday, so a couple of wet days ahead of us. Dry on Saturday. And then Father's Day, what do you think they put in the forecast for Father's Day, Dan?
More rain?
Yeah, you got it. You know what? Lawn's sure looking good. Lawn's looking good. That's what dads want. That's what we want on Father's Day. It's 78 on CC.
Drive Time with DeRUSH resumes now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Sure needed that rain. I think we're past that, right? We're beyond. They're saying we could get two more inches of rain. My backyard, when you walk through the yard, I was walking through the yard to pull some weeds the other day. It's just, I don't even know how to make the sound. That sound when your feet like, you're that little mushy sound. You know, a better producer would have helped me out there. You would have made the sounds. What are you doing? You just sit there and like watch me. You're like, Let's see what idiotic noise this moron makes.
That's exactly. How far out on that limb are you going to go?
Yeah, it's more like that. That's how it is. Terry Moran got fired. ABC News correspondent. Chad asked me earlier this week what I thought should happen, and I thought that he shouldn't have been fired, but I thought suspending him was appropriate. Terry Moran is a veteran correspondent. He was the anchor of Nightline for a while. He was a senior correspondent. He's written quite a bit about why Donald Trump was elected, why he was so popular. In fact, many of his earlier posts on Twitter that you would say fits into news analysis, which, you know what? The world would be better if every mainstream media journalist just zipped it on analysis. And I know people disagree with me, but you only disagree with me if the mainstream media is saying crap that you agree with. So you could take your sanctimony about, oh, you don't want the media to tell the truth, Jason? No, I want reporters to report. And if you're going to go down the road of analysis, I would advise you not to post that analysis after midnight on a Friday. It's just not a good idea. And also, even dumber, Terry Moran's contract expires on Friday. So look, I've been in a contract negotiation or two in my life. And let me tell you what I do not do when you're in a contract negotiation. I don't post crazy stuff on social media. Now, how much time do I have left here on this radio station? 1 year. Not in this segment. Cook's trying to figure out. You got 2 minutes.
2 minutes and 20 seconds.
So I have 1 year left, almost exactly, on my deal here at the station. And I'll guarantee you, when this show starts just doing rainbows and unicorns and puppies all the time, you'll be like, I bet DeRUSH is in a contract negotiation right now. Like, you got to protect your bag, Terry Moran. So stupid.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
You know what today is?
Yes, it's Twins Ticket Tuesday. My God. You know, we got our tell me more, Dan. What else should I know?
You had resolved
you thought
the
I was
Terry
done?
Moran thing, and so we could move on to inform the people
Don't say dumb stuff when your contract's
Yeah,
up.
don't do that. That's a bad idea. But what you should do when you hear the Win Twin sounder.
What, Terry Moran's going to be broke? He should probably try to
maybe
win
want to
some
get
tickets.
some free tickets, right? Be caller number 3 when you hear the Win Twin sounder, not now.
You know, a lot of people, if you just read the word Moran, you're like, moron.
Well, there's that.
So what happens when you hear the sounder?
When you hear that sounder, you be caller number 3 and you get a 4-pack of tickets to see the Twins versus Seattle Mariners.
When is that?
Monday, June the 23rd. It's a 6:40 p.m. first pitch.
Okay.
And of course, you want to get there because the Twins and the Mariners have been playing some very entertaining games this year. And you want to be there for the next one as they're going to host Seattle for a 4-game series beginning on that Monday.
Maybe
June
it won't
23rd.
rain. Maybe it won't rain.
You never know. They've had a bad run with the weather this year.
Yes, they have. The Saints.
But I don't want to hear
this.
this. Well, they should have built a retractable roof.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what? If you ding-dongs in now greater Minnesota would have chipped in some money and not made all us residents of Hennepin County pay for it, then maybe we could have had a retractable roof. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The biggest whiners about the retractable roof are the people who aren't chipping in even a nickel.
Exactly. And I get it. You know, it's a long trek to get down here, you know, for a lot
Well,
of
you
folks.
made the choice to live in Podunk.
And you
That's
also
on
made the
you.
choice not to pay for it. So, sorry.
But, hey, we'd love to have you win those
Yeah, but you can win
tickets.
some tickets anyway.
DeRUSH Hour news headlines coming up. The lead will go a little deeper on the new cannabis tax. So, you know, toke up, get yourself ready, and we'll deal with it coming up after Susie Jones here on CC.
Advent is now open in Eden Prairie. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Surdix would love to see you at University in Hennepin because they have got an unbelievable sale going on right now. It's Jason for my friends at Surdix. The rosé sale is in effect. Every bottle of rosé, I love rosé this time of year. I don't know, it's got enough structure and body to stand up next to a pork chop or a steak, but it just feels like summer. Get that bottle of pink drink. Pink rosé, all on sale, 15% off every single bottle at Surdix. Now, tomorrow, I want to give you a heads up about this because tomorrow is the Surdix Grand Tasting. 8 tables, and these tastings are unreal. 8 tables, dozens of wine, small producers you've maybe never heard of before, and the whole thing is free. From 4 to 7 tomorrow. No, Thursday, June 12th, 4 to 7. Go to that small producer showcase and enjoy that grand tasting. Try it before you buy it. Go visit Surdix.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
The frequency, AM 830 and 1029 HD2. The call letters, WCCO. The station, News Talk 830 WCCO. Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump and California authorities ramped up their dispute today over the deployment of troops to Los Angeles, beginning with court action. Matt Piper begins our coverage.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has filed an emergency request in federal court to block the president from using the National Guard and Marines to assist with immigration raids. He says the motion is in response to a change in orders from the Guard, which was originally brought in to protect federal buildings and personnel. Now, the Pentagon says it plans to hold secure perimeters around areas where raids are taking place and securing streets for immigration agents.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. President Trump is defending his decision to send in the National Guard and U.S. Marines.
Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores only to watch our country be destroyed by invasion and third world lawlessness here at home like is happening in California.
The president was speaking at Fort Bragg.
What you're witnessing in California is a full-blown assault on peace, on public order.
Adding, in his words, we will liberate Los Angeles.
At Fort Bragg, President Trump also announced the names of other military bases will revert back to what they were.
We are also going to be restoring the names to Fort Pickett, Fort Hood, Fort Gordon, Fort Rucker, Fort Polk, Fort A.P. Hill, and Fort Robert E. Lee.
On Capitol Hill, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was facing questions from angry lawmakers. Representative Rosa DeLauro.
Your tenure as secretary has been marked by endless chaos. Your first day in office, the inspector general, whose job is to investigate waste, fraud, and abuse, was fired. Weeks later, you dismissed the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and 5 other admirals and generals.
And lawmakers complain they haven't yet gotten details about the proposed defense budget, which President Trump has said will total $1 trillion. There was a rare school shooting today in Austria. 10 people were killed, including the suspect, who authorities believe was a former student. BBC's Nick Thorpe.
Local people just here living next to the school said they heard up to 30 shots with a pause between them.
ABC has parted ways with correspondent Terry Moran 2 days after he was suspended for an online remark calling White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller a world-class hater. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the U.S.-China trade talks have been productive. Investors were closely following that news. The Dow finished the day 100 points higher. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
A few clouds, 81 degrees now at 5:03. I'm Susie Jones. The hour's top story: Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry issuing an executive order cementing the reforms outlined in the now dismissed consent decree between the Department of Justice and the Minneapolis Police Department.
Despite the federal government's retreat, the city is moving forward, reaffirming its commitment to community-driven, transparent, and lasting police reform. Under the order, the city attorney will identify all reform items from the consent decree that are not already included in or conflicting with the Minnesota Department of Human Rights settlement agreement. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Reaction to the state's new $66 billion budget, which passed last night during a marathon special session. Included in that budget, a tax on cannabis products. Nothing but hemp store owner Stephen Brown says the new state tax of 15% will be added to taxes in both Minneapolis and St. Paul, which will be close to about 27% tax on the product.
So, for example, a $40 product for the consumer will cost them $51. We are going to be the most expensive market for hemp in the country.
Governor Tim Walz sharing his thoughts on the session earlier today.
This might be one of the most satisfying moments since I've been governor, to be able to bring together a budget like this, to be able to push a fiscally responsible budget that I still think makes Minnesota competitive.
He also responded to the passage of a contentious bill that will remove adult undocumented immigrants from Minnesota Care.
It is my assessment, I think it was the assessment of the other leaders, that we were going to go to a shutdown over this issue if we weren't willing to find a compromise.
Finally, Metro Transit announcing the launch of a new B line.
Service is set to begin this Saturday, June 14th, replacing the existing Route 21 and aiming to significantly speed up transit for thousands. Today, officials offered media a preview highlighting features like dedicated bus lanes, fewer stops, and off-board fare payment that's expected to cut travel times by an estimated 20% between uptown Minneapolis and downtown St. Paul. Project leader Katie Roth.
This line is going to be a fast, frequent upgrade of that service that will add significant investment at stations for customers.
She added that the new route aims to provide a more efficient and reliable connection across the Twin Cities. In Minneapolis, I'm Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow for the crosstown both directions, basically between Gleason and the Mendota Bridge. South 35E, watching slowdowns there. 94 heading down to the River Bridge. 94 westbound jammed up into Minneapolis as you come in from Snelling Avenue. Highway 36, that's a slow ride. Cleveland heading out to Rice Street. 10 westbound slowing as you move past Foley, heading up to Hanson Boulevard. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Have you seen the wind or hail affect your home? Honest Exteriors offers thorough inspections and can be your advocate with those tricky insurance companies. From the first raindrop to the final nail, Honest Exteriors is with you. Local pros, honest work. HonestExteriors.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Honest Exteriors. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
We'll keep a partly cloudy sky into the night tonight, 62 the overnight low. Clouds will thicken up tomorrow. We'll have some isolated showers possible, mainly across southern Minnesota with a high of 75. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a better chance of showers, especially later in the day. The heaviest rain should be Thursday night into Friday morning. We dry out Saturday and Sunday.
Right now we have a few clouds and 81 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Breaking news never seems to take a break. Neither do we. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DeRUSH. It's drive time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching a cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DeRUSH.
So during Susie's news, I mean, obviously I was 100% paying attention. Just
Hello?
like you did.
Hello.
100% paying attention. So there's something called The Strategist from New York Magazine. And The Strategist often has here are the 10 things you should buy for Father's Day, or here are the 5, face creams that some celebrity can't live without. So when I saw we asked former New York Yankee and The Deal podcast host A-Rod about the snacks, sneakers, and reading glasses he can't live without, I'm like, well, this is not former New York Yankee. This is our guy, owner of the Timberwolves, Alex Rodriguez. Chipotle burrito bowl. I can crush a burrito bowl. I like to order a combo, chicken and steak. Then I like guac red sauce. One of my many vices is chips. I can't stay away from those damn chips. At this point, I have a PhD in chips. I like Cheetos. I like barbecue. I like Doritos. And I like...
Good luck, Timberwolves fans.
It's like he asked his high school senior to could you just write this crap for The Strategist? And then some of the stuff on this list, obviously the business model here is you click on the link and they get half a penny when you go order some chips. But one of these is Lysol laundry sanitizer additive, 0% bleach, crisp linen. This can't be real. This stuff kills bacteria on your laundry, which is awesome because I remember that polyester Yankee uniform would just stink. I mean, this is allegedly what...
I just can't understand why people used to refer to him as A-Fraud. I don't get it.
All right, let's do the DeRUSH Hour news headlines.
Time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRUSH Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin with the lead.
And we begin with a settlement, the most divided legislature in the history of the state of Minnesota. If you added up the House and the Senate, you had 100 Republicans and 101 Democrats. The Republicans had a little bit of power, but not a lot of power because they were tied in the House, but the Speaker was a Republican. But they were still evenly tied. The Democrats had a 1-vote majority in the Senate. Minnesotans appeared, at least if you listen to the political brain wizards, they appeared to choose divided government after the DFL trifecta, where Democrats had the governor's office, the House, and the Senate. I disagree with that analysis. I think that some Republicans in some districts picked for a Republican candidate. I don't think anybody chose anything. But what do I know? What I do know is that in a one-day special session, about 2 weeks after the end of the session, lawmakers did pass a 2-year budget deal worth $66 billion. It is a reduction in spending. It did achieve what Republicans appeared to be holding the whole thing up for, which was making sure that undocumented immigrants, people who are here illegally, could not sign up for Minnesota Care, which is the insurance program. Democrats said that Republicans were taking away health care. They were causing people to die. But Republicans said in a time of budget tightness, we got to take care of people who are here legally first. I did ask Speaker of the House, Lisa Demuth, Representative Lisa Demuth, if she felt like Republicans really got that much because they stopped or rolled that back. But otherwise, most of what the DFL trifecta passed is still part of Minnesota law.
Yeah, there is, Jason. And I think that's an important fact that I believe with Republicans in the tie and having a voice in this process, it almost provided an opportunity for Democrats where they maybe had some overreach to say, we may not like it, but maybe we need to compromise. So on earned and safe time, we were able to get some safeguards in the reporting process. Paid family medical leave, we wanted to make more meaningful changes because of what we've heard from the business community across the state. That program that is already behind in funding, and yet it hasn't even rolled out yet. And the IT system to make that actually work is not even ready, yet it's supposed to start January 1st. We were able to just roll back the cap sales, or the tax on that on employers. We were able to roll that back just a small amount. We couldn't get some of the other things done that we wanted to do. We were also, for school districts, able to put in some safeguards around that unemployment for hourly workers. It's important to recognize that those hourly workers in schools are not unemployed, but yet they have jobs that finish during the summer. So we were able to get some language working with the DEED, so the Department of Employment and Economic Development, and the Department of Education, putting some safeguards there so people aren't just taking the summers off and getting paid. They're either looking for jobs or taking the jobs that schools are able to offer them. There were a number of other things. You mentioned the health insurance for undocumented people. We were able to stop that as of January 1st for 18 and over, just adults. We did maintain covering children. That is not taking away health care. It's making it so taxpayers are not on the hook for paying for health insurance for the undocumented population.
One of the other big things that did not happen in this session was changes to local sales tax. There was going to be a metro sales tax that would pass, and some of that money not happen. What did happen was a bonding bill. And so $700 million will be invested in roads, bridges, dams, drinking water, and other public infrastructure. So it's been 2 years since there was last a bonding bill. And that we'll learn in the coming days sort of who gets what out of that situation. One other thing that did happen during the final days of the legislature is a tax hike. It's a tax hike, though, on a product that is not really for sale yet. The cannabis tax was going to be 10%. Now it will be 15%. Stephen Brown is the owner of Nothing But Hemp, and he is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Stephen, thanks for being with us. What is your reaction to that 15% tax rate?
It's just too high. When you add in the state sales tax and the local sales tax, you're getting close up to 27% in St. Paul and Minneapolis. The goal was to eradicate the black market. Now we're right up there with California.
What do you think that extra 5% is really going to make much of a difference in people who would be, already paying what probably is going to be a markup compared to what cannabis was going for on the black market?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge blackup. It's huge. I mean, from $40 product will, after tax, will be around $51 or more. We're already seeing it in the hemp industry where people are just going over the Hudson and saving on the tax because they could buy hemp-derived THC products, right next door.
Yeah, I think, it is a fascinating question, right? Whether people who are likely to go to a dispensary, are they price sensitive? If you're somebody who's getting your cannabis from your guy on the black market, are you necessarily the kind of person who's going to the dispensary anyway? I'm curious how price sensitive. Yes, maybe if you can go to Wisconsin, but if you're in, if you're in the center of the state or somewhere else, I don't know. I'm just asking if 5%, if it really will make that much of a difference.
I think it will. I mean, if we were around, 5% or 10% on a tax, I think consumers are willing to find safe products and walk into, a dispensary. I really think this is going to cut some of the marketplace down on the legal side. Just because right now you could, purchase an eighth for about $30 to $40 on the black market with no tax and have a quality product.
I mean, when you look around the country, right? California is about 15%, Arizona 16%, Colorado 15%, Delaware 15%. 15. I guess Oregon goes up to 17%, and Washington goes to 37%. Montana 20%. We were sort of in the middle at 10%, and it looks like we're still sort of in the middle on 15%, right?
Well, not after you add in all the other,
the other
city taxes.
Yeah. Yep. It's the other sales tax that Minnesota is already higher on those states. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the risk when they do this is that if sales go down, you don't even achieve the benefit of having that extra 5%, right?
Exactly. And now that, people can home grow up to, believe it's like 4 plants, that's already going to be really tough for a lot of these businesses. And then you're adding this extra tax on top of it. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out. And we're one of the only states that has a cannabis tax on hemp. And so that's extremely strange and odd. So if you go to your local liquor store and you're buying a 4-pack, THC beverage, you're going to be hit with a 15% tax on top of your regular sales tax.
What is your sense? And I don't know. Have you applied for a license to sell cannabis as well? What's your status? I know we had the first round of lottery that happened last week, but what are you guys at?
Yeah, so we did not apply for a license. We are still looking at the industry as a potential option for us, and we could always purchase a license. And that's what we're looking at. We want to see how things kind of roll out. It's been really a really difficult rollout in Minnesota, and I don't think necessarily right now being the first is the best. We want to see what happens.
Stephen Brown, we appreciate you spending some time with us talking about that 15% tax that was part of this budget compromise. 5:20, that is DeRUSH Hour News Headlines, The Lead. In just a minute, we turn the page and go to page 2, where we will talk about Maple Grove, more than just the restaurant capital of Minnesota, a very expensive water filter, for Stillwater, and what athletes have made the most money playing in Minnesota? Drive Time back in just a minute on CCO.
It's the afternoon ride with Jason DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I want you to have the best summer ever. You deserve it. And let me tell you, achieving your ideal weight is one of the ways that's going to make your summer special. It's Jason DeRUSH here for my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers. And you know that I joined Livia in the summer, and Livia has straight up changed my life. They really did. And I could not have done it without their help and support. Livia helped me lose a grand total of 45 pounds. When I signed up, there is no way on earth that I thought I was going to lose 45 pounds, much less keep it off. If you join Livia, yeah, I kept it off 3 years later. Crazy. Join now and get 3 months free. Plus a free Lipo B12 injection, which could help your metabolism, your energy level. Livia's always innovated, trying to come up with new stuff to help you achieve the you've always wanted to be. It is your summer. No sacrifices, just results. That's how we're talking about it this summer. I love it because you deserve it. Livia can get you there. They've got the medical weight loss options too. GLP-1 medication starting at just $149. Let's go. Join today. Get 3 months free. Livia.com or call 855-GO-LIVIA.
You know that feeling when you're about to cut into a juicy steak and hope it tastes as perfect as it looks? Well, worry no more. The Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking your chicken, fish, or meat, whether on the stovetop, oven, or grill. The probe is inserted into your food and connected wirelessly to an app. Once you select your desired doneness, the app alerts you when to take the steaks off the grill or the turkey out of the oven. It's that simple. Order one now on chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Summer's here, and the rush for outdoor furniture is coming up fast. Now's the time to upgrade so you can enjoy your space all season long and for seasons to come. By the Yard builds premium, maintenance-free outdoor furniture made to last, built to order right here in Minnesota. Backed by a 35-year warranty and priced direct to you with no middleman markup. Visit Woodbury, Maple Grove, or Jordan, or start your order at BuyTheYard.net. You know, with By the Yard, life is better outdoor.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is
hours.
No, thanks.
3 hours.
That's too long. 3 hours?
on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Key Rush Hour News headlines. Page 2. Should travel writers gatekeep all of the secret treasure?
I'm a travel writer. I've been traveling the world and writing about my travels since 1986.
Oh my goodness.
I've written 15 books.
This
and
travel
more
writer
than
certainly
1,000
should be.
articles. And I've been talking and traveling with the 14th Dalai Lama for 45 years.
That travel writer should. Pico Iyer with a really interesting story in the New York Times, because it's travel writers and food writers who have to think about this, and it's worse for travel writers. This idea of sharing little-known secrets. Pico in the New York Times writes, when I first began writing about foreign wonders, I could extol the hidden jewel known as the Lotus Cafe in Ubud, because few people would ever read my account, and even fewer would dream in 1988 of flying to Bali. Well, now you mention a secret bar in Barcelona. It gets to 11 million readers in every corner of the planet, many of whom are on their way to Spain very soon, or at least know of others who will be. If you're a book reviewer or a movie reviewer, no one is mad that you gave away this secret movie, right? Everyone's excited, like, wonderful. This overlooked novel or overlooked movie just got attention. But destinations are fragile. Many cannot bear the weight of thousands. Pretty interesting sort of dilemma. I am not a gatekeeper, but I do think about it. Like, and so do you guys. When you text me places and tell me not to tell anyone, I know what you're saying, and I'm nervous about it too. Maple Grove is not just the restaurant capital of Minnesota. Oh, no. It is soon to be the biomedical technology capital. Minnesota Star Tribune reporting that Boston Scientific is selling its Minnetonka lab and office and moving everybody up I-94 to Maple Grove. Construction underway on a 52,000 square foot expansion of their 79-acre campus on Weaver Lake Road. And maybe you've seen, if you've driven, like if you're on the way to the cabin or up towards St. Cloud, you see this massive 400,000 square foot campus going in. That is Boston Scientific. Employees will start moving in there by the end of the year. You know, it's called Boston Scientific. Kind of a raw deal for us. There are 10,000 Minnesota employees there. All 8 of the company's divisions do business in Minnesota. This is one expensive Brita filter for the city of Stillwater.
Water. Oil. Room service.
Spaceballs. Mary Devine at TwinCities.com, Pioneer Press, reporting that Stillwater is getting a temporary water treatment facility. They're trying to clean out those PFAS, the forever chemicals. It'll cost $2.5 million. And they're going to build this thing right next to well number 10 near Benson Park. And they're using granulated activated carbon. And that's why I'm saying, like, get everybody a Brita.
That's a Brita filter, yeah.
I assume I don't have PFAS in my water, but I don't think the water tastes very good. I think, well water in Maple Grove. A little jealous of your Minneapolis, St. Paul people and your Mississippi River water. What's the best water you've ever had in your life, Dan Cook? Or do you not notice the different taste?
I have no clue.
I should have known.
Yeah.
When I lived in Milwaukee,
I have a tap and you turn it on.
Oh, it's so
and
gross.
Then water comes out.
Lake Michigan water is the best water I've ever had. Don't you like the segment we do during the state fair with the water sommelier? I mean, that is... All right, let's talk about what athletes have made... Now, think about it before I reveal. What athletes have made the most money playing in Minnesota? So Axios Twin Cities reporting that we have a couple new members to the $100 million club. Rudy Gobert, the Timberwolves center, and Carlos Correa have joined the $100 million club. Rudy's made $123 million. Carlos has made $130 $43 million. But Dan, like, it's sort of obvious well, I would think it's obvious, but I don't know if people would assume it's Anthony Edwards or
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett
would have been one that popped into my head, but this guy absolutely would be my guess. Yes.
Joe Mauer.
Yeah.
$233.3 million. KG, pretty close. Pretty close. KG made $217.9 million. Kirk Cousins, 185. Cat, 182. Pretty interesting. I mean, you play your whole 15-year career in a Minnesota uniform. That's tough to beat. Now, if Carlos does play out the 3 final years on his guaranteed contract, he will pass Joe Mauer. And Anthony Edwards is on pace to make $289 million and has a lot of earning years ahead of him. If we can keep him, he'll blow everybody away. But he'll be at 289 by 2029. 5:32, that's the DRUSH Hour News headlines. In just a minute, I was just like blown away last night. Something during the NHL Stanley Cup Finals got me going, why? Why does hockey put up with these ridiculous fights in the middle of the match? We'll talk to Jessi Pierce, NHL.com writer covering the Wild. Jessi will join us in minutes here on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO. As the weather heats up, so do the Twins bats.
One on a hit down the third base line, and that's the game winner.
This time of year means grilling weather, yard work, hitting the lake, and baseballs flying out of the park.
Pulls this one deep into the corner. It's gone for a home run. 2-run shot for Trevor Warner.
So fire up the mower, grab your headphones, and catch the best sounds of the summer.
It bounces off the bullpen wall. Buxton's coming to the plate. He will score. It's a 4-2 Twins lead.
Twins baseball on the flagship. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing through Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those Sleep Night gummies. I know you love them, and they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So, better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple, snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. that still exists in those sleep night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien. Really, these gummies helped me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINNELEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. East 694 still a slow ride as you make way between 252 and 35E. East 36 still jammed up to Cleveland Avenue. Heading over to Rice Street, if traveling west 94, got a crash just beyond Stelling. Another one a little bit closer to the area of Highway 280. If you've inherited valuable coins, gold, silver, or jewelry, where do you turn? American Rare Coin and Collectibles. For over 30 years, American Rare Coin has been purchasing valuable coin and precious metal collections with honesty, transparency, and immediate payment. American Rare Coin and Collectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chad back here with you. We all have a morning ritual. For me, I start the day with a great glass of water from my Connecticut drinking water system. How do you get it? Because it's the best. Go to Aquarius, AquariusHomeservices.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
That's the best water you can get, Connecticut, from our friends at Aquarius Home Services. Let's get the forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Dry tonight with an overnight low of 62. The clouds thicken up tomorrow. 75 will be the high. We'll have a chance of showers with a better chance of showers on Thursday with a high of 73. The best chance of rain is going to be late Thursday into the early part of Friday. We do dry out for the weekend.
Right now, it is 80 degrees, mostly sunny and 80 here on CCO.
Jason DeRusha is back on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Look me in the eye and tell me you don't find me attractive. Look me in the heart and tell me you won't go. Look me in the eye and promise no love's like I love. Look me in the heart and unbreak.
A Royal Rumble. It was, I don't know, is this, so I don't like the fighting. I don't like the fighting in hockey. And to me, it cheapens the game. But last night I'm watching Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals because it's the Cup. That's why I was watching it. And I'm not a great hockey mind. I'm not. I'm a very casual fan. When the Wild are cooking, I like to watch the Wild. I grew up a hockey fan, but I needed some answers, some expertise. And I thought, you know what? I got to reach out to my friend Jessi Pierce, who covers the Wild, who covers hockey. She's a hockey. You're a hockey guy. I'm not a hockey guy. You're a hockey guy. You're a hockey gal.
I like guru. Guru is a good word, right?
You're a hockey wizard. You're a bit of a hockey brain wizard, I would say.
Yeah,
I like it. I'll take it.
What is so first of all, what's with the fighting? Last night, did that irritate you or did that not irritate you?
No, but again, I'm a hockey gal, right? I love it. I love the part that being part of the game. I don't like when it takes over the game and when it's everything, but it's the Stanley Cup Finals. These guys are fighting tooth and nail. They're playing hurt. They've been through hell and back already, right? And they're in the finals going through the Stanley Cup. So emotions get heated. There's a lot of passion behind it. You got to read the book, Jason. It's called The Code, where it kind of goes into the actual reasoning for fighting. So it kind of dates back to, it was to enforce this code where you don't hit the superstars and you kind of protect your guys. And it's a really insightful book where it shows it's not just guys throwing haymakers at one another or just fighting for fighting. And that certainly is something that's even been more and more removed as the game's gone on. You do need to be able to play hockey in addition to fighting, whereas back in the day that was a little bit different.
So
right?
I grew up a Blackhawks fan, and there were enforcers who were like, it was serious business. It was not. Now, last night looked a little bit like a couple of guys getting ready to dance at the middle school dance. Like there was some of that. There was some fists thrown where I'm watching this and I think of any other sport, even football, which football is incredibly violent sport. If you had people just throwing haymakers at each other, the social critics of the world would be losing their mind about how these athletes are bad examples. There are kids watching. This is going to happen at all levels of sport. In hockey, you have 5-6 minutes of fighting. What, 10 different players? Was it 10 players, 8 players?
Yeah, I think 85 minutes yesterday in penalty minutes.
I mean, any other sport, you'd be like, people would say like, well, the cops should arrest these guys. How is this allowed to happen? 5 players were thrown out of the game. And it was the part of it that was crazy to me is that the game was well out of hand. It was clearly a blowout. So, Florida was up like 5-1 when this massive fight happened, and I think they won 6-1. But it just seems so ridiculous.
Sure. No, it's a momentum changer. Think about when Marcus Foligno tries to get the crowd going in St. Paul, right? And he gets out on the ice and kind of has a nice hard hit into the boards or drops the gloves, and you dance, as you'd mentioned. It can be a momentum changer. It's something to try to spark the boys, get the boys going. And Edmonton, as you'd mentioned, desperation as they were just getting absolutely dominated by Florida. The other unfortunate thing to the fighting is it can lead to power play goals, which we saw those penalties that Edmonton took were a big old problem. Right. 3 power play goals for the Panthers too. So that's the other thing is you do have to keep your wits about you. You do have to keep your tempers from getting too extreme. But again, I'm kind of here for the well-timed, well-placed fight. And I don't even hate a bench-clearing brawl. If I can see 2 goalies go at it, Marc-Andre Fleury, that's the one thing that he said he misses from his Hall of Fame resume is he never got into a goalie fight. He never won. Yeah, but
I mean, is there part of what I wonder is we talk with Jessi Pierce, and you can follow her on X at JESSI. Is it underscore?
Underscore, yeah.
JESSI Pierce. Do you think, we don't see this in high school, right? This has been some of this has been banned at the lower levels, and they try to crack down. There's conversations that flare up every once in a while that, fighting should be banned in the NHL. They could ban it. Why not just say, what, this game is beautiful enough. We don't really need this. There are other ways we can get some momentum going.
Again, you got to go back to the history. It's just been such a part of the game, and hockey is kind of behind, right? Like you have those traditionalists who definitely don't want to change things, but I do feel that there has been a large component, obviously CTA and
that's what you worry about, right? Yeah, the head trauma. Now, I don't know. Has there been an incident that's been that bad? I don't know. Do you think these guys fully are fighting the same way they would like on the street if they were in a brawl, or is it?
No,
it's like a hockey.
I don't think
so. What's different in hockey fighting?
I mean, again, you're not trying to destroy the other person, right? There's very few instances. You're not out there to hurt the person. They all have great amount of respect for people. You'll even notice there are times.
It didn't look like that much respect last night. I didn't see a ton of respect.
of the disrespect. But again, it can be such a good part of the game. But I do think the biggest difference that I'm noticing now is the fighting today. It does happen much less. Like, I know we see instances like last night and you're like, how is that possible? It does. It's because you have to be able to skate. Players are so freaking fast these days too, that it's hard to catch up. And again, you're not having those big enforcers. Derek Bugard, former Minnesota Wild player, he was one of those guys that never really brought the hockey value, but he was that enforcer. And again, there are so few of those players because teams need guys that can skate, that can be a fourth line impact player and not just a fighter. So I think it's starting to trend away from it, but I think because it was a part of the original game, there's a time and a place for it. It'll never go away. I don't think it will, right? You know, you hear the jokes about I went to a hockey game and I went to a boxing match and a hockey game broke up, right? Like, there are certain situations, but I just think it can serve its time and place for the sport, that there's just so much passion and emotion within these guys.
Now, nobody gets suspended, right? Like, you get to come back and play game 4. Like in the NBA, if you punch another player, I think you would get suspended for the next game, right? Like in the NHL, nothing happens.
Right. It depends on, usually it's only a bad hit. If you punch a player, if you guys get into a fight, it's 5 for fighting, and you might get tossed out of the game depending on when in the game it happens.
Right.
But yeah, you're not getting suspended or reprimanded unless you're doing something completely egregious, right? Which again, these guys are never
like right in the Bojangles if you punch
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet. That'd be a move that I'm sure.
Let's have some fun if we're gonna do. Why not, Jessi? You're like, oh, it's all part of the great tradition of the game. We're just punching people. Now, one serious question about this, though, because the other sports I mentioned very often have more players who are players of color. Do you think that some of this is maybe a little bit of a racial understanding of it, where hockey is often played by white guys? Is it different in that way?
I mean, I think you'd be ignorant to suggest it's not, right? I'm sure race does play a tone in hockey and in sports in general. We all are aware of that. We become more aware
in
of
the
it.
world, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know that necessarily is a different way that approach, because it is starting to grow and become a little bit more diverse. Still lags far, far behind any of the other sports, but hockey has been making those efforts, those initiatives.
Right.
And I think, whether the player is white, black, blue, purple, they approach the game the same way, right? You're taught the game the same way. So I think even when it comes to that fighting and that physical element, I don't know that race is necessarily a component to it. But again, it's something that you can't ignore either, right? Maybe it is different the way that I think hockey players approach the game. We look at the Four Nations, right? When you're seeing the best on best and everybody was tuning in, you had football players, basketball players watching, and you think about other sports and it's like, why can't this work in other sports? That's because hockey players are different. They have just this different passion about the game of hockey. They are throwing their bodies on the line every night. And that's not to lessen what NBA players and NFL players do on a weekly basis either, but it's just, there's something different. Again, that's what I love about the sport. They are just all in, no matter what.
Really good stuff. Jessi, I appreciate it. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, no problem, Jason. Thanks so much.
Very good. Jessi Pierce, she's a Minnesota Wild correspondent at NHL.com, has her own podcast and her own podcast company too. We'll break. Twins Ticket Tuesday, just saying, something to think about. We might give away some Twins tickets here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, it's Jason here for... You thought you were going to hear something, didn't you? What you're hearing is me telling you to go to J.H. & Sons. I say, when you think about the ball hitting the bat and that sound, that crack, that should be a sign to you to up your wardrobe, up your fashion game. J.H. & Sons at the Galleria in Edina is creating a new standard for quality, beautiful fabrics, beautiful design, and an incredible staff. And that's what I meant to tell you guys about today. So J.H. & Sons decided for Father's Day to have a sale. So they are having a sale. It just started today. You can save 20% on seasonal sportswear collections from some of the beautiful Italian designers. Everything from like a nice kind of go out on the town and wear a jacket to a great pair of denim from Page. 11T is part of this. Fradi. Emmanuel Berg, great brands. Go to JH & Sons at the Galleria. You can be the first to know about savings in sales if you go to jhandsons.com and sign up for their email list. But go to the Galleria and say hi. Tell them you heard about it right here on CCO.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score. Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Hi, Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Our team is here to help you with any real estate questions you may have about buying, selling, or investing. Our approach is simple. We focus on you and your best interests. No hard sales pitch, rush, or pressure. We work on your timeline. 612-294-6949, mnrealestateshow.com. That's 612-294-6949.
Sports betting is everywhere, and for some, it's a problem. If you're finding it harder to stop or betting more than you can afford, you're not alone. At Project Turnabout, we understand the risks of problem gambling. Our specialized treatment services can help you regain control with confidential support, expert counseling, and a proven path to recovery. And best of all, gambling treatment is free for Minnesota residents. Call Project Turnabout today at 1-800-862-1453 or visit projectturnabout.org.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast, available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Possible crash west 494 near Lindale. Traffic's already slow as you come away from Portland Avenue. 35W northbound slowing into Minneapolis as move past 42nd. 394 eastbound. A little bit on the slower side of things as you come in from 100 into downtown Minneapolis. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
In its centennial year, the DAV of Minnesota remains dedicated to helping thousands of veterans access the benefits they've earned. And you can make a difference. Volunteer to transport veterans, advocate for improved programs, or donate today at davmn.org.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
DAV in Minnesota tells us tonight's going to be beautiful, 62 the low. Tomorrow, 75 isolated showers. Right now, man, if you're going to the Twins game, it's awesome. 80 degrees on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSH.
Not for me. I mean, this, not for me.
I mean, it is horrifying.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's take the current temp of your Minnesota Twins. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Get your wireless meat thermometer now at chefiq.com.
Chef IQ Sense bringing us the temperature of the Twins. I love that wireless thermometer. Hooks right into your iPhone. I'm going to be using that on Father's Day. I'll tell you that much. Tonight, the temperature of the Twins, Dan, we say is...
It's somewhere in the middle again. It's warmish. They're coming off a win, had a day off, kind of regrouping, but the pitching staff's taken a couple of pretty significant hits.
I'm on the cold end of warm.
Okay. I'll buy it. So
I'm not cool, but I'm lukewarm.
Pablo
the
Lopez
injuries have me worried.
Obviously, Pablo's out for a long period of time. Zebby Matthews, they don't think is quite as serious of a shoulder injury, but he'd been pitching pretty well. So Simeon Woods Richardson back up with the big club. He'll get the start tonight.
I love Simeon Woods Richardson as a person.
Yes.
As a player, it's been a struggle for him this season, but hopefully like a little bit of time over in St. Paul help get him right.
Yeah, he's a back end of the rotation starter.
But yes.
So you're not counting on him to dominate other teams necessarily, but you want him to be able to at least get you through some innings, 5 into the 5th, into the 6th, and protect the bullpen a little bit.
He won 2 with the Saints.
Yep.
4.24 ERA, 3 starts. Much better than his 2-2 record. And 5 ERA for the Twins.
All old Twins friend, Tyler Mahle, who is here for a cup of coffee, starting tonight for the Rangers.
All
He's
right.
had a great year, so it'll be a tough one for the Twins tonight, but we'll see.
All right. Great night to be at the ballpark, that's
Absolutely.
for sure. And congrats to Cindy, who won our Twins ticket Tuesday tickets as well. So she's going to see the Mariners on June 23rd. We'll be back with you tomorrow, where we'll talk about this federal indictment that just came out, that supposed ice thing, got 900 pounds of meth.
Break out the grill and fill up the kiddie pool. Summer's here. Dietz and Watson's got all the grillables to kick your cookout up a notch. Like Dietz dogs, they're made the right way.